Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So this video is my first video after I have completed 1k subscribers and 4000 watch hours on my channel. So I would like to thank each and every one of you who has watched my videos over the last 1 year. I had started in September on 2020. So I'd like to thank each and every one of you who have watched my videos, who have subscribed to my channel, who have supported me, who have encouraged me to improve myself. So thank you guys. This is what I wanted to say before I start with this video. Now coming to the main video. In this video I'm going to discuss with you all which programming languages I know and why I have learned that language. So the first proper programming language which I learned was Java. This was taught in school. As you all know, from class 9 to 12 you have Java in your course. So that was the first time when I got introduced to OOPS concepts, the various OOPS concepts basically. So yeah, Java was the first programming language which I had learned, but at that time I did not know like what was the use, because at that time in school in Java you are only doing simple pattern programming, or printing some pattern or doing some small whatever. Like you don't do any actual project which will actually make you understand the importance of the Java programming language. So this was the my first time when I got introduced to a proper programming language. Before that, in junior school, I used to do this logo. I'm sure many of you all must have done this logo programming. Like there was an arrow, it used to go up, left, right, something like that. I hope even some of you must have used this logo programming. Now, the next programming which I learned was C programming. This was taught in first year of my BTech, and I'm sure all the engineering students who are watching this video must have definitely learned this C programming language in your curriculum. Now this was the first time when because what I had learned in Java I had already forgotten by the time I came to college. So this was a programming language with which I again started from the beginning, trying to learn all. Now see, the thing is that whichever programming languages you take, your concepts need to be clear of how to approach that code, because only the syntax is different. Yes, some programming might have some extra features, but the basic thing, like in C, in Java you use scanner class for inputting data, but in C you use scanf, right? So inputting data is same, just the syntax is different. So what I always say is that your approach, you should know how you're going to approach that code, because you can code that programming in any language, whichever you know, because as I said, only the syntax differs. Everything else remains the same. So C was the programming language which I learned, and I again in college used to do all these simple assignments which used to be given. So this C language is quite easy. Like it doesn't have too much of OOPS concepts, because it is not a OOPS programming language. So it has nothing much. It is a very basic programming language you have. But what was important in C was I got to know data structures, right? Because data structure is something which I didn't learn in the school, in my school days in Java. So data structures, I was introduced to DS for the first time using C programming language. So that's why C was kind of helpful to me, because I got to learn about, obviously I knew arrays, but I got to learn about stacks, trees, and all the various other types of whatever data structures you have, linked list and all. So that is why C was helpful to me, because the first time I got to know about all these data structures. Next, with the programming language which I learned was C++, and this was the first OOPS language after Java which I have learned. In Java I did not learn OOPS concept in that details. So in C++ was the first time when I learned I learned the OOPS concepts in details, like abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, all these details. And I also created a small project using C++ for my curriculum. So that was the first time when I got introduced to this OOPS concepts, and again all the data structures using C++ I learned to use. So if you know C, I suggest you should also, if you know C, then I will also suggest you all to just learn C++, because the programming languages are of the same, like they are of the same family, right? So it is easier to progress from C to C++. And you all must know, I'm sure you all know that how C++ is very useful. It is used in a lot of fields nowadays as a programming language. Now, I learned this in my third semester, like in my third year, sorry. In my fourth year, I had my pre-onboarding training in my company. So for that, I was given some modules to learn, and I was given Java to learn by the company. So this was again, as I said, I had learned Java, but the details in which I learned it over here, that much details I did not learn previously. So this was the first time when I got introduced to Java in details. Like I got to know about the various OOPS concepts in details, like in actual application of how you are going to use these OOPS concepts. Now this Java language, as you all know, have a lot of uses, especially in developing apps, Android apps, and game development and all these things. And you can also learn a lot of frameworks like Hadoop, Apache, and there are a lot of frameworks which you can learn if you are interested in Java. So other than this, I also know Python. Now why did I learn Python? That is important because, as you all know, this Python is a very simple code. I mean, you don't have such big syntaxes unlike the other codes. You can you need to, for C++, C, Java, you need to define a data type. You need to take input as in form of that data type. But in Python, you just type int input or just variable equals to input. But in Java, I hope you all know that you have to write a scanner class, this, and system dot in read ln. All these big sentences you have to write. But in Python, you don't have to write such big syntax. And especially why I find Python useful is because in various competitive programming, or in in programming in like TCS exams or in various other job exams, I find coding in Python helps me to quickly solve the code, right? Otherwise, I don't remember so much syntaxes. Like, so if suppose I want to code in C, now I don't remember. I have to search from Google, like what is the syntax for this, what is the syntax for that. But Python, I find it very easy because you just put one line syntax and that's done. Your code is done. So that is mainly why I learned Python because I wanted to code faster in all these competitive exams. But again, you can also use this and learn if you are interested. I'm sure a lot of you are interested in all this machine learning and all this stuff. So you can, again, Python is very good in this machine learning in all these fields. So yes, you can, if you are interested in Python, you can learn it for this. But as I said, I learned Python mainly for my all this exam purposes. Now, the next programming language which I learned was after I joined my company. I got training in C#. Now this C# is a very versatile programming language. Those who all have used this, or those who all know this, or those who are learning this, must be knowing that Microsoft is a lot dependent on this, like .NET framework. .NET technology is dependent on C# a lot. So website development, like it, as I said, it's very versatile. It is used in website development, Windows development, and in game development, and also as I've said in .NET technology. So also you know that after Java, .NET developer roles are also quite demanding. So if you know this C# language, it quite helps a lot because yeah, as I've said, you can actually create a lot of websites and all this stuffs, all this Windows application, all these things. Next programming language which I learned was JavaScript. Now this again I learned in very quite basics. I did not learn much in details, but this is very helpful because it helps in creating the dynamic web pages. So suppose suppose you have entered a data in a form, and if it is a wrong data, then you want to display an alert. So using JavaScript, you can easily create alerts. Again, in Google search bar, when you type something, you get automatic suggestions. So that is again JavaScript in action. So this is some tip of the iceberg uses of JavaScript. It has got a lot of uses, especially as I've said in rendering dynamic web pages, and that is why JavaScript is useful. Now this JavaScript, as you all know, is a client-side programming language, which means you can directly code this on the web browser and this is going to work directly. But why I find it useful is because this has got it has seen a lot of development over the last few years. JavaScript's JSON file format, as you all know, is widely used nowadays for transferring data. Secondly, as I've said, JavaScript is a client-side programming language. But nowadays, because of Node.js, which is the JavaScript runtime environment, this allows you to build servers using JavaScript easily. And also because of AngularJS, which is an MVC framework, and this helps you create easy interactive web applications. And after JavaScript, I have learned some front-end development things for like HTSS, Bootstrap, and HTML. So these are all used, as you all know, you should know a bit of all this, because for designing the front-end web page, you need to create actually a very good design which is actually appealing to your client who is going to use that web page. So that is why it is important to learn all this Bootstrap, CSS. There are a lot of online things from where you can easily learn all these things. I think there is something called Code Academy. I used to learn from this during my college days. But yeah, there are a lot of sites, Udemy, Coursera, you can learn it from there. So yeah, these are the programming languages which I know. You can also share the programming languages which you know in the comment box below. Then if you know something other than all this, then I can actually learn these programming languages if it is useful for me. So yeah, that was the programming languages. So just giving you a total overview. The programming languages which I know is Java, Python, C, C++, JavaScript, and C#, and some front ends like CSS, Bootstrap, and HTML. And out of this, again, I want to say that Python, this is mainly I use it for the programming exam type of things, because I don't do machine learning and all this. I'm not interested too much in machine learning and natural NLP and all these things, so I don't know these things in details. But yes, as I've said, it helps me it helps me in solving codes quicker during exams. Then my most favorite one is C, because I find it very simple, no too much details, quickly write, bas finish. Other than this, Java, C#, all these are OOPS based languages, and yeah, it has got a lot of utilizations in in corporate world. So yeah, so these are the things which I know, and thank you guys very much for watching this video. See you in the next one.